Martha Beck, Beyond Anxiety, Curiosity, Creativity, and Finding Your Life's Purpose. As we scroll through the endless cycle of grim news, jokes about environmental collapse, and shake our heads at political chaos, most of us can't help but feel a dark undercurrent of unease, a funny feeling, otherwise known as anxiety. For both adolescents and adults, anxiety is on the rise. During the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic, global anxiety disorders surged by 25%, with the number of affected individuals jumping from 298 million to 374 million. By 2023, half of young adults aged 18 to 24 were still struggling to cope with anxiety. This debilitating, life-threatening condition was being called the world's most common mental illness. In this blink, you'll see how anxiety is a symptom of a larger issue regarding modern life, and how tapping into the creative side of your mind is key to finding both relief and a higher purpose in life. Going from anxiety spiral to creative spiral. Anxiety often feels like an overwhelming force, an ever-present shadow that can grip us at any moment. But what if we stopped fighting it and instead turned that energy into something productive, something creative? This shift is what the author Martha Beck discovered when she began experimenting with what she calls the art of calm. Rather than letting anxiety consume her, she found that creativity could replace it. Your brain is wired for creativity, constantly generating stories and ideas. The issue arises when this wiring is dominated by fear, worry, and a desire for control. But by shifting your thinking to one of curiosity and wonder, you can hijack this cycle and redirect your mental energy into something more life-affirming. This comes down to a shift from left brain to right brain thinking. The pattern of anxiety is driven by the left hemisphere of your brain, which works overtime to create stories and scenarios that make you feel in control, even though they're based on fear and the unknown. This constant search for control creates an anxiety spiral, making it harder to break free. But just as the left hemisphere creates worry, the right hemisphere encourages curiosity, connection, and creative problem solving. Engaging this part of your brain, whether through art, music, movement, or simply appreciating the present moment, helps you break the cycle of anxiety and replace it with a creativity spiral. Rather than focusing on threats and control, you begin to see opportunities and patterns that lead to growth. One way to tap into creativity and calm is through sensory engagement. The next time you feel anxious, focus on a single object. Pay attention to its texture, color, and shape. Sensory engagement is a key part of many creative pursuits. It can anchor you in the present and quiet the anxiety-driven thoughts in your head. It shifts your mind away from anxious thinking and into a more grounded, peaceful state of awareness. The more you do this, the more you can rewire your brain to respond to stress in a healthier, calmer way. As you'll see in the next section, anxiety doesn't have to define you. Instead of trying to fight it, you can learn to live with it in a way that helps you embrace your innate creative and curious nature. Creating a sanctuary for peace of mind. What makes anxiety difficult to manage is that even when you understand what triggers it, that knowledge alone doesn't always stop the spiral. In fact, it can even make it worse once you identify it and try to wrestle it into submission. Instead of viewing anxiety as a combative enemy, it's more helpful to accept it and work with it. Think of it as a wild animal and yourself as the gentle horse whisperer. Get to know your anxiety creature. Observe it with a patient curiosity and recognize the different states your nervous system goes through. These states can be broken down into green, yellow, and red light states. When you feel safe, you're in a green light state, calm and connected. A yellow light state signals stress, activating your fight or flight response. Red is when your system collapses into hopelessness or shutdown. The key isn't to avoid these states, but to learn how to move between them smoothly and with control. Now, to help manage anxiety, here's a step-by-step approach to creating a sanctuary, a physical space where you feel naturally calm and can go from a yellow or red light back to a green light state. A good sanctuary can be a cozy nook in your home or simply a favorite chair. What you want to do is place glimmers around this spot. These are sensory cues that bring comfort and joy. It could be anything: your favorite tchotchkes, a scented candle, songs you love, a soft cardigan. Glimmers are anchors. They help shift your body and mind back into a peaceful state. The next step is to allow yourself to enjoy these moments of peace rather than trying to force them. When you're ready, think about the stressors that triggered your anxiety. What got you to a yellow state? Maybe it was an upcoming appointment or unfinished task. The goal is to observe your body's subtle shifts into stress without reacting. By simply witnessing the changes and reminding yourself that you're safe, you can prevent the spiral from becoming a red light situation. The final step is to practice moving between these states regularly. Anxiety isn't something that can be conquered, but it is something you can learn to manage by navigating your internal states. Rather than eliminating fear entirely, train your nervous system to recover smoothly. When you spend more time in the green light state, you become not just calmer, but also more creative, compassionate, and effective at solving problems. Inner peace forms the foundation for meaningful action, allowing you to contribute to the world with purpose instead of being held back by fear and anxiety. Reclaiming your creative mind. When you make creative practice part of your routine life, anxiety fades away and is replaced by a sense of joy and renewed purpose. This kind of creative practice isn't done for approval or money. Rather, it's an essential part of a fulfilling life. It doesn't have to overwhelm your schedule either. It's simply about making space for self-expression, whether through writing, painting, dancing, or something else. Joy and purpose arrive because of how creativity spirals work. Unlike anxiety spirals, which pull you inward, causing you to shrink away from new experiences, creativity spirals are fueled by curiosity. They encourage you to explore, open you up to new ways of relating to others, and help you embrace diverse perspectives rather than retreat into rigid worldviews. Scientific research confirms that engaging in artistic activities reduces stress hormones, improves cognitive function, and lowers the risk of mental health issues like PTSD. Even small creative acts like coloring for 20 minutes can provide immediate relief from anxiety. Reclaiming curiosity is about getting back to your natural sense of wonder, which in many people fades as they grow older. Tests NASA used to identify creative geniuses showed that while children between 3 to 5 years scored through the roof, only 2% of adults hit the mark. School and pressure to conform to a society built on mindless jobs quickly tamp down innate curiosity and creativity. The good news? Your natural curiosity never really disappears. It's still there, waiting to be reignited. So start paying attention to what sparks your interest. The next time you're scrolling through the internet, browsing a bookstore, or talking to a friend, notice the subjects that make you lean in and want to know more. The main thing is curiosity. When you reclaim your curiosity, you open the door for creativity and a life beyond anxiety, one full of adventure and possibility. Finding your squirrels. Frida's life is shaped by anxiety, and understandably so. Her severe allergies make every day feel like navigating a dangerous minefield, with any wrong move potentially being fatal. She depends on Griffin, her highly trained service dog, to help detect and avoid hazards. Griffin is usually a model of self-control, except when it comes to squirrels. He can't resist chasing the fuzzy creatures. This led Beck to wonder, maybe Griffin isn't just distracted. Maybe he's trying to show Frida that life is about more than avoiding danger. It's about embracing joy. As Frida considered this, she had to laugh, because in that moment, Griffin also reacted with joy, as if saying, yes, the meaning of life is about the squirrels, not the fear. What are your squirrels, your interests and passions, the thing that will lead to a life filled with meaning? Some interests may be brief, like solving jigsaw puzzles, while others, such as a deep love for art or science, can evolve into lifelong passions. But they can all add up to create a kind of quilt that will bring fulfillment and keep you inspired as well as earning a living. A quilt of many interests is similar to diversifying. People like the author David Sedaris and the entrepreneur Emma Gannon don't feel as though they work in the traditional sense. They have a wide range of interests that pull them forward, from writing to speaking engagements, from podcasting to online teaching and subscription services. Creating a quilt is what a lot of creative careers look like these days. Even the most unexpected passions can unlock understanding. For example, an elderly woman once shared how her lifelong love of crocheting brought her to a transcendent state, much like the revelations brought on by the psychedelic experiences of her spiritual teacher. The woman's craft had become a way to access a deeper level of insight, showing that any true passion, when pursued with dedication, can lead to awe and discovery. To find these authentic passions, pay attention to what excites you rather than what feels like an obligation. Identifying what lifts you up versus what drains you can guide you towards a more rewarding life, full of genuine engagement and satisfaction. Trust your instincts and choose curiosity over conformity to help you weave together fulfillment, bringing together work, love, nourishment, and play. This is a life of deep satisfaction and creativity. Following the magic. When you move away from doing mindless work that offers little joy and shift your efforts towards something that is aligned with your true purpose, it's huge. By following your unique creative path, a deep sense of fulfillment emerges. You start to feel truly engaged in something bigger than yourself, as if you're contributing to a greater whole. When Damien left a job in retail sales to pursue his passion for mechanics, he stopped dreading the next workday and found himself wishing for more time to dive deeper into projects he loves. It's not an easy thing to do. Living with purpose often requires breaking free from societal roles that no longer serve you. Culture teaches us to prioritize earning money and climbing the success ladder before considering what truly brings us joy. But the reality is, when you commit to your life's mission, creativity and motivation flow effortlessly, and it often leads to financial reward. But it takes a leap. You can't wait for the perfect circumstances or financial security, or else it may never happen. You need to tap into your innate curiosity and follow it wherever it leads, without fear of judgment or conventional success. Trusting the unfolding process of creativity is key, even when it feels uncertain or unfamiliar. Ancient wisdom, such as Taoism, teaches that true creativity flows without force or overthinking. When you stop trying to control every aspect of your work and let your instincts guide you, you'll likely experience effortless mastery. It's an experience everyone has felt, whether in a burst of inspiration at work, toying with a hobby, or playing sports. When you stop worrying about what others think and follow your inner joy, you align with a deeper purpose. And this purpose often benefits everyone. Embracing the unknown and finding your team. It's amazing how much we don't know about even the most fundamental things. Did matter create consciousness, or did consciousness emerge from matter? No one knows, and that's okay. A powerful approach to managing anxiety is to embrace a don't know mind and step into the mystery of existence. Some cultures describe this as an awakening, which transforms how we experience reality. In this state, the world feels like a unified field of energy, where everything shares an interconnected consciousness. Many philosophies, particularly Eastern traditions, emphasize the value of releasing fixed ideas and accepting uncertainty, knowing it leads to greater peace and clarity. People who experience this awakening often describe a profound sense of peace and connection as their minds release habitual stories and become fully present in the moment. For instance, Jill Bolte Taylor, a neuroscientist and author of the book Whole Brain Living, described the peaceful, interconnected feeling she had after a stroke when her right hemisphere temporarily took over. It's like tuning a radio to a new frequency, one that's deeply aligned with the universe. Research further supports Taylor's experience as it shows that people open to spiritual experiences tend to be happier, more resilient, and more creative. Another benefit of this kind of openness is a willingness to make creative connections with others. Even since Beck was a kid, she recognized that certain people were part of her team. She could tell that they shared a common drive to heal, create, and connect. When you recognize these people, they may not fully understand their mission yet, but they're linked by a sense of purpose. When you connect with like-minded individuals, you create a powerful network that encourages creativity and meaningful change. Personal growth and social progress can go hand in hand with the right team. Paul Hawken has devoted his life to tackling climate change, and he made his global initiative, Project Drawdown, possible by harnessing the collective power of curious minds. Discover your interests, find your purpose, and connect that creative drive to the world around you. You'll be amazed at how it points the way toward a life beyond anxiety, one that aligns with human nature and makes the world a better place in the process. The main takeaway of this link to Beyond Anxiety by Martha Beck is that anxiety is often rooted in false beliefs and anticipatory fears that keep you disconnected from the present moment. Instead of feeding these anxious thoughts, you can observe them with curiosity, transforming them into opportunities for growth and connection. By doing so, you tap into your innate creative selves, opening the door to finding your true interests and guiding purpose. By keeping your creative side engaged, you can move from anxiety to action. This journey toward inner peace and purpose is a process of awakening, where you become more attuned to the interconnectedness of life, more open to collaboration, and contributing to the healing of the world around you. Okay, and that is it for this Blink. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you can, please take the time to leave us a rating because we really, really appreciate your feedback. See you in the next Blink. Bye.